Hello everyone, this is Destiny Hawkins with Vibrant Designs, and today we will be going over how I created this book cover using GIMP. If you are new to using this free designing software, please see the link in the description where it'll take you to a step-by-step tutorial on how to create your first basic book cover. After that, feel free to watch the tutorials in order, or you could jump back to this video. So before we get started, I did want to introduce Vibrant Designs. Vibrant Designs is an online service geared towards authors. There we create book covers, logos, banners, trailers, websites, and offer editorial services. If you are ever interested in getting any work done through us, just visit www.vibrantdesignscovers.com. Alright, so let's get started with this cover. Alright, so if you guys are following along with me with your own GIMP software, I do want to go over the images that I have before we start. So we have our main image here, and then we have a water ripple, which is what I typed in when I searched for the image. And then we have a cloud texture. Anything that looks smoky or cloudy would do fine. So we are going to start with our first image and the main one. And we're going to stretch it out using the scale tool. So that was this tool here. And then you stretch it here. Alright, so now I'm going to use my drag tool and just center it a bit. Now I want to give this a black and white look while also making it, giving it the red as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to colors, desaturate, and then which mode I can choose. You choose what's comfortable for you, but we have lightness, average, value, luminance. I'm gonna go for, I like lightness. I'm gonna click OK. Then I'm gonna right click and go to duplicate layer. Now I'm gonna go back to colors, go to colorize, go to the color, select, and then you can make it whatever color you want to go for, but don't let it get too deep into the color. You want to make it so that it still looks natural, like natural lighting. And you select OK. Now what I'm going to do is right click and go to add layer mask. I'm going to make sure that black full transparency is selected and click add. Then I'm going to go to my gradient tool and click the gradient FG to BG. I'm just going to switch sides here, and I'm going to pull this down. Once you are satisfied where your red is, or whichever color you decide to use, all you have to do is click any tool after that. So now we're going to move on to the water. So use your seeing eye tool and select it on. Go to your move tool and drag it down. And sometimes what you want to do is click shift and select, and then you're able to drag it, because sometimes it'll act funny and you can't. So go ahead and right click on the water image, go back to add layer mask, make sure that black full transparency is selected, and make sure that X and invert mask is selected as well, and then click add. We're going to do the same process with this gradient tool, only we're going to drag it down to where the water looks like it's blending a bit into the floor. Now I know this looks a little funny, but there's a trick to it. This is fine. Alright, so what I'm going to do is make sure that I select the actual image box and use my mode and go to overlay. Then I still want it to have the red color. So I'm going to go to colors, colorize, And this is where I may play with the deep red. And just choose the color that makes you comfortable. Click select. Okay, and then you can kind of drag the picture around, see where you want it to be. Actually kind of liked it where it was. Just needs to see a little bit more ripple. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put the water at the top because, you know, it's called illusion. Of course, why is there water in the middle of the hall? So we're going to duplicate the layer. Sorry, right click, duplicate. Then we're going to go to the flip tool and make sure that vertical is selected, and then select the screen, you know, over the image. Go ahead and take your drag tool and drag it up. Now I do use a little bit of the transform tool. And so when I select it, make sure that the image is selected, and I take the box and I give it the illusion that it's actually going further into the room or into the hallway. Be careful with your pictures. You don't want to bunch everything up and make it look unnatural. Although how natural could water sitting on the ceiling be? Okay. So now I do want to go ahead and make this picture pop out a little more. So right click the first layer of the woman and merge down. Make sure that the picture now as one picture is selected. Go to colors, brightness and contrast, and then drag it however comfortable you are with this one. You know, what is your eye like? Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and add the last layer. Go ahead and drag it out using the scale tool. And this almost blends everything in together well. But there are some changes we have to make. So make sure you select mode and go to overlay. And then drag the image, you know, where it looks good to you. It looks most smokiest to me here. But I don't want it to mess with the water. So what I'm going to do is right click, add layer mask. Make sure that black full transparent is selected. Click add. Go to my gradient tool. And I'm just going to drag it up to about here. And then I'll select anything. Now what I'm going to do is right click, apply the layer mask. So now this is permanent. Select it again. Go back to add layer mask and do the same thing at the top. Okay. Now we're going to add a layer. So go to layer, new layer. Make sure that transparency is selected. You can name your layer here. I never do. And click OK. Go to normal, overlay. Go back to your gradient tool. This time we're going to choose something different. We're going to give it that cracked image look. So select outside of the cover and then drag in. I'm going to switch the directions here. Once you're done with that, select on anything. Now it is time for the text. So we're going to select our text tool. And I have this under Augustus. and it's called Illusion. Now, once you have your text typed out, select inside, and then you can make the words bigger here. Make the words bigger. What are we, cavemen? We can change the size here. We make words bigger. Okay. Now it's a bit hard to see, so what we're going to do is go to Filters, Light and Shadow, and go to Drop Shadow. Now this still isn't good enough, but we have another move to make. The game isn't over yet. Alright, so we're going to right click Illusion and click Alpha to Selection. Select create another layer, new layer, name it if you would like, make sure transparency is selected, and click OK. Drag this under the text you have, and then go to your bucket fill tool. Make sure black is filled, and then select. Then click Select and None. Now make sure that the layer that you fill the bucket with is selected. Go to Filters. No, wrong one. Go to Colors. Nope, we were at the right one. Blur. Go to Filters, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and blur it out a bit. Now I played with it a little in the other image. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to duplicate it, merge it down, and then I actually used my smudge tool. I just like the way it looked when it blended into the floor. Now to give it a glow, I select the text, right click, Alpha to Selection, new layer, OK. Make sure that the white bucket, make sure that the bucket is filled with white paint. Select None, and then go from Normal to Overlay. So now you can see the bit of a difference here. We have a glow. And then what we're going to do is go to Filters again, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And now we are going to go to the title. I mean what's that thing called? The author name. Of course, I'm going to put Vibrant Designs here. So select your font and then go ahead and type in your title, not your title, your author name. Size it how you like. And then what I did was I actually put some space in between the letters. Also, yes, if you want to make sure that your words are centered, go to the alignment tool, select it, make sure that it highlights, with the box. And then select the middle one, and it'll straighten you out. So, just a quick example. And I don't know where I'm typing anymore. Okay. Gonna go to tagline, goes here. But this is hard to see, so we're gonna change it to black. But I want to show you guys a quick trick here to make it easier to see. Alpha to Selection, layer, new layer. Drag that new layer under it. Select, grow. Make that 16. It's just a big blur. And then select inside that box. Go to Mode, make sure that it's still selected. Click Overlay, and then select None. Your next move is go to Filters, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And now it's easier to see and appealing to the eye. Ta-da! Alright, so that's it for today's tutorial. If you like this video and would like to watch more, please subscribe to my channel. Once again, if you are interested in our services, you can find us at vibrantdesignscovers.com. So that's www.vibrantdesignscovers.com. There's also a link in the description to subscribe to our newsletter. First-time subscribers get a 15% off discount code for their first order. I would also like to invite you to join our Facebook group where I post pre-made covers per purchase. You'll find the link in the description. Thank you again for watching and happy designing!